there it is.
Ah.
We are live. It is Tuesday night. And it is time for our live show. It's, certainly has been a very eventful Tuesday in late February here in 2020, certainly in the Disney world. But as we get everybody populating into our live show, we ask that you please share. While you're sharing, I will be sharing. Before I do that, I will absolutely announce that big thanks to Sam for joining me this evening, straight from Western PA, but absolutely just returning from a phenomenal whirlwind of a trip to Walt Disney World this week.
It was a pretty big weekend. Thank you, Lisa. And yes, right now, 24 hours ago, I was in the Magic Kingdom, and here I am today, back home in the cold. But not that it was warm at Magic Kingdom this weekend, by the way, because it was pretty cold Saturday and Sunday. But
I think
it was still
Sunday. I got very burnt on Sunday, but Saturday was a little chilly.
It was. But anyway, I am back. It was a great trip. Got to hook up. We tried out the Regal Eagle, which I got the Sam Eagle shirt here, which I thought was pretty cool. Good food and lots of news, like you mentioned.
Yeah, lots of stuff coming out this certainly today, but lots of new things that you tried this time with the family. So certainly there'll be a lot of questions, as yesterday was the last day of the International Festival of the Arts.
It was. The Festival of the Arts is gone, and primarily that was really one of the reasons for our trip. I wanted the family to experience that. I really like it, but it was also cool to be walking around, and the festival blooms were out, and some of the topiaries were out, and honestly, if yesterday, for some reason was the last day of Festival of Arts, the Flower and Garden Festival starts Wednesday, so that's not a lot of days between those two conferences.
I hadn't pieced that together. You're absolutely right. It does start.
It starts right away. So they had to have the festival blooms and some of the topiaries up, and you could start to see where the shell game is taking them this year, meaning where's the butterfly house going to be this year? Where are some of the things that used to be in the festival center going?
Now, so did you pay attention to that?
I did. There's a lot of construction walls and something going on right between the land and imagination. And I have a feeling that's the butterfly garden. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is.
How are we doing tonight, Margie? Kathy, Audie, how are you doing this evening? Hey, Laurie.
Audie, greetings, my friend.
Hey, Christina. I'm trying to get some of this music up and running here in the background.
That's a nice little screen you got there. It looks like the what's going on at Disney World right now.
It is. It's exactly what it is.
I see that.
So let's see if I can't get this to roll through and see what I got going on. This is the music that you hear in your resort room while you're sitting there.
Hey, that's the channel that I have on when I'm in my resort room for sure.
What's going on, Brandon? Hey, Austin, how you doing tonight? Bradley, and then hey, howdy, hey, from Joe Debo. How we doing tonight? We've got a little bit of business to take care of before we get rolling tonight. So last week, and of course I don't have it with me, last week I had the Disney Nerds Podcast Meetup Lanyard. Last week, rather. 2 Disney Nerds Podcast buttons, a couple of Star Wars buttons, which I have right here, a couple of those, and then 1 or 2 maybe other trinkets. We did a trivia last week. And the question was, on the bus marquees, it gives a little extra. So if you're going to a specific place, say Animal Kingdom, it also says along there, Hakuna Matata. If you're going to Magic Kingdom, it says Royal Greetings. So I said, if you're at the bus station and the bus pulls up and it says Bienvenidos, where are you going? What resort are you heading to? And I gave everybody a week to answer. Lots of answers coming in. The correct answer to that question, so that everybody is aware, is Coronado Springs. So you're heading over to Coronado Springs. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 winners. One of them was Christine. She goes into the bucket. Then I have Jeffrey Most goes into the bucket. I hope everybody's ready. Brandon
This is
Humble
good.
goes into the bucket. Aaron Butcher goes into the bucket, who just went back to the UK yesterday. Heather Watley is going in the bucket. And then Bill, our good old friend Bill Stage, is going into the bucket. So with that being said, and of course it is the Star Wars popcorn bucket. And I'm going to shake this puppy up, and I'm going to choose right now who's going to win this prize pack.
I like that bucket, by the way. I got one of those this weekend.
Thank you very much. And the winner is... All right. Heather Watley. Heather Watley is the official winner of
All right.
Nerds Podcast Prize Pack. So Heather, I will respond. If you're not on right now, I will respond and tag you and let you know that you were the winner. If you're watching on the replay, please send me an email at lisa@thedisneynerdspodcast.com with your mailing address, so that way I can send this prize pack off to you as soon as possible. So I'm going to put winner on that. Drop that back in the bucket there, so that way I know, and we can head on and continue on with our evening. Lots of comments came in. And
Heather's listening. That's awesome.
That's phenomenal. What was your family's favorite part of the Festival of the Arts?
Oh man, favorite part of Festival of the Arts. I think we enjoyed just walking around and looking at the artwork, to be honest with you. There's a lot of stuff going on there, but looking at the art in the art festival was really fun. Lots of cool stuff and different. I like this, I like that, and it's good stuff.
What did you succumb to?
I did not this time. In fact, what I wanted, they were sold out of. So I was there, and we did the walk around video with Jimmy on the opening weekend. Recorded a podcast, which I hope you guys were able to listen to. We stopped and talked to a lot of the artists, which I think is part of the fun of the Festival of the Arts. And one of the prints that I was hoping to get was sold out, and they weren't getting any more until next festival. It was one of the prints I was hoping for.
Yeah, that one, he said, sells out pretty quickly. It's a beautiful piece of work. This was the festival that made me realize that maybe moving down here was a bad idea. This was my moment when we bought two pieces of art, and then a bunch of postcards that I had artists sign.
Postcards, interesting.
$5 postcards. My daughter loves drawing, loves artwork, loves painting, loves anything. So we just walked around and did, $5 postcards. If the artist was there, we went and saw if they were $5 postcards, and then I had her go up and have the artist sign it and talk to him for a little bit, and it was a great experience.
One of my big finds right there. Not that it's a find, but so Lisa, we get into this. There's a popcorn bucket. I need to get it. You just had your Star Wars one. And I thought for $17, this is pretty cool. It's a gondola that's over at Epcot. And
that's not a bad price at all.
I am accustomed to a $25 AT-AT or a $25 Han Solo Frozen and Carbonite bucket from the Star Wars Weekends days that I thought this wasn't bad at all for $17. And by the way, you can see the current bucket in the background here. That's the current black one. But that was cool. I like that. That was really nice.
Fantastic.
Had to get me that.
Whoa, that's
for sure
for us. Yeah, that is fantastic. That's great news, Victoria. Happy week so far. That's not freezing cold. No, from what I understand up north, it is not freezing cold. The 3D sidewalk chalk drawing. So Scott and I were there the same day this past weekend, and that artist did Rapunzel, and you could sit on put your feet up on the wall and hold on to Rapunzel's hair. That was the picture. It was fantastic.
I didn't see the finished piece, so that's pretty cool.
So good.
I saw it being.
I'm certain I have it somewhere.
Very nice.
How you doing, David? So yeah, just great stuff. It that was one of the things I definitely learned about the Festival of the Arts, so is that it's going to cost me a pretty penny.
But there are also some bargains to be found around there. I got myself a couple of pieces of art the first time that I went. I think I shared one a minute ago. Hold on. Here's the piece that I had gotten.
Oh, hold on, let me pull you up.
Yeah. We'll get back to that one in a second. That's the piece of art that I had.
And that was from previous?
This was from the first trip with Jimmy, so this is a signed piece of artwork here. But the thing that was cool about this, and we interviewed the artist that had drawn this, it's not from a movie. It's sort of what happened in between movies or in between scenes.
He kind of cut the in-between scenes, right? I remember the podcast. You guys did a great job with it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's the Dark Entrance, it's called. I love that. I need to get it hung and framed, but that's a great example of some of the art that I was going for. 58 days. Start the countdown.
58 days. That's fantastic.
Had to put that back in a safe place.
That is a great piece of work. So before we get into this screen layout here, one of the things that I had the pleasure of doing, and you can call it pleasure, you can call it not so much pleasure, but I had the privilege of running the 5K on Friday morning.
Which is the shirt you're wearing? Do you have your medal? Is it handy?
Which is exactly why I said something.
Ah.
At the end of the race, they hand you this thing is pretty rock solid right there.
That is Moana.
So that is our Moana 5K Disney Princess Weekend 5K medal. And it is really, really pretty.
Very nice.
So you get the medal when you finish. You get your shirt. You get your race bib. And it's a wonderful experience. I highly recommend the 5K for all levels. You can walk it, you can run it, and then there's a 10K, and then for those crazy people that want to run a half of a marathon, there's the 13.1 mile race. In addition to that, there are, if I think it's crazy enough to run 13.1 miles, people literally run all three races.
And they get the fourth medal, right? Yes, because you get a medal for each of the three races. Then you get the completer medal, which looked like a Mickey head, little spinners. It was kind of neat. We saw a lot of people wearing those. They made a lot of noise.
Medals inside the big medal. So it definitely was interesting. So yeah, we did the 5K, and so did our friends Rachel and Ken. Rachel's blog writer for the Disney Nerds podcast.
Very nice.
He was there as well. It was fantastic. I'm thinking about running 13.1. I can run 13.1 inches at the moment. Maybe I'll get to feet at some point. Miles might be a long way away from me. How did I do in my 5K? I finished.
And that's all that matters. And that's all that matters. So tell me about the photo opportunities or the things going on. What was going on behind scenes? What did you get to see that we can't see because we didn't run the race?
So some really, first of all, they changed the actual course this year. We used to come you used to come in the back way and come
into International Gateway.
Yes, but no.
Okay.
I don't know why I said yes. You'd leave, the race starts in the parking lot. You'd go straight out to the back road and take a right, and it would bring you around to the Universe of Energy
Guardians mission breakdown.
Yes, that side.
Okay.
Of Future World.
So the corrals all start in the parking lot. That's where the buses drop people off. And from the parking lot, you're sort of running around and in over by Energy. Cool.
Yep. And so what you do is you come in their back gate. There's a back gate there. It's fantastic. You go in, and all of a sudden, before you realize it, you're looking at these structures, and you're underneath Test Track, the outside
That's
portion of Test Track.
sure. That's pretty cool.
I've got the lights going and all this other stuff, and that's great. And all the cast members are out saying hi to you and cheering you on. And you go in and you kind of take a left, and it's called the Avenue of the Stars.
I think that is the track that goes around.
That goes around the whole backside. So you
Right.
end up taking a right. The old course was that you took a right into Mexico, but now it's that this race you went further up and came in through China.
Came in through China. I think that's where the parade came in once upon a time back in 2000.
Nations.
That's where it came in.
Yep. So you came in through China, and then you went around World Showcase. You ducked down towards International Gateway, and then just as you were getting almost to the Skyliner, you cut right, and you went back.
There's a bus route back there where buses can drop people. Yeah.
Yep. So you came all the way back, and you went around World Showplace, and you kind of came out of World Showplace, back into World Showcase. And the old course used to bring you up into Future World. This course did not bring you up into Future World because, well, it's all under construction.
There's not a lot of room in Future World. There's a lot of construction walls in Epcot.
In Future World. So they brought us back around to Mexico, and they brought us back out to the Avenue of the Stars at Mexico, and you took a left, and you kind of cross paths with other people that are running onto World Showcase as you're heading up towards the finish line. And you keep that back pathway. I will tell you something that I saw on this trip, and I know I showed Sam, which is why he's asking me. That's the type of world Sam lives in. I was able to run right next to the brand new attraction building for Guardians of the Galaxy.
The big, huge building that we saw them. We saw all the girders, and then they wrapped it, and now they've painted it a go away. So it's there though. It's pretty darn big.
And it's first of all, it's huge. Second of all, there is you can see, and I'm gonna have to share a picture at some point. You can see when we were running, that road goes right underneath. You go under a tunnel.
Sure it does.
You can absolutely tell that is the launching point for the coaster.
Yeah, because well, if you think about it, the way that coaster's designed, the load-unload area is the old building of Ellen's Energy Adventure. Then just like Rock and Roller Coaster, you're going to take off backwards, we learned, into that huge building, and who knows what happens once you're inside there. That will be cool. Here, by the way, this is a map from this weekend, and if you look at the front, you can see all the green space around Spaceship Earth because there's nothing there. There are nothing but construction walls around all of that. So the building where Club Cool used to be, the building where Starbucks was, it's gone completely. Even the character spot, that's gone. So the front of Future World has not a lot up there right now.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't seem to.
You shared some pictures, Lisa. I'll point it out really quickly. When you come into Epcot now, there's a path to take you to the right or to the left versus going straight through.
That's correct. So you and really like way off to the right will give you access to right by Coral Reef Restaurant.
I am absolutely shocked at how close the Coral Reef Restaurant really is to Spaceship Earth.
To the
it's right there.
Park.
Yes, it's right.
If you've ever gone to Coral Reef, you kind of walk all the way around that corner, and there's like no space.
Right.
And now it's like a vast existence.
It's opened up.
There's so much space over there.
And they've done the same thing coming into Epcot on the left-hand side, because now you sort of cut over to where Guardians and the Play Pavilion would be, and now to the makeshift Mouse Gear, because Mouse Gear is closed and they've opened a small one. But essentially what they're doing is opening both of those routes around so they can close Spaceship Earth and build Dreamer's Point. And we learned a little bit about that, didn't we, Lisa?
Dreamer's Point.
Dreamer's Point is where the Walt statue is going to be, but Spaceship Earth is coming down in May. Is that right?
May 26th, that was announced today. So yeah. May 26th, they are, and I kind of had this moment of clarity today. Sometimes you forget about things when you live down here. So I met up with Sam and his family. He was there with his son and his daughter and his wife. And I've known Sam's family for a while now. And the kids were ready to run off, and where are you going? And your son said, "Oh, Spaceship Earth. I had to go to Spaceship Earth." He knew, he had it in his brain, and he was
Yeah.
right.
We won't be back down until June. That's his last ride on Spaceship Earth the way it is now. Right. Which, and you know, we always look back at Spaceship Earth and some people say the Jeremy Irons version was better or the Walter Cronkite version was better. Let's be honest. The version from when you were a kid is the best version because that's what takes you back to your childhood. So for him, his favorite version could be the Dame
This one.
Judi Dench version,
Yep.
this version,
This could
and not because of anything other than it takes you back to being 6 years old when you wrote it for the first time and you recited things. I remember, you know, all roads north, south, east, and west lead to Rome. That's the line, and he knows the. You can thank the Phoenicians, right? It's
That's
just
right.
it's different time, but same scene. That's,
But
but yeah,
I really think about I haven't ridden Spaceship Earth in a while, and
you
now
should
I
get on
know
that.
I've got to get back there, and
You
I've
should
got
get
to
on that.
go check it out.
We will be probably, you know, this summer and into obviously past May and into the Food and Wine Festival. When you come into Epcot, you're going to make a right or a left because you're not going to be able to go straight underneath Spaceship Earth, and that's exactly why they opened those two entranceways around it. All of
That
that, all of that said, Lisa, you and I talked about it. The coolest way to get to Epcot right now is through the International Gateway, whether you're coming in from a gondola or you're coming in from a boat, because it's beautiful back there. It's completely redone. It's bigger. It's wide open. I love International Gateway.
Listen to me, and some of me is a little bit selfish. That has become kind of one of the primary ways to get to Epcot because
Yeah,
to me it was a hidden secret. To me, it
it
was
was.
I absolutely loved, and now it's getting a little crowded over there.
Well, but they've also they redid it all. They built a new guest relations building. They have many more access points, the touch points, not the turnstiles, but they've made it better security wise over there. So things are getting a little better.
Rory's got a question for you.
What is Smugglers Run at MGM like? Number one, Rory, it's Disney's Hollywood Studios, but we'll let you go with that. Smugglers Run, dude, you get to drive the Millennium Falcon for crying out loud. Hondo Inaka's going to send you on a mission. You have to go and get some cargo. Chewbacca's your co-pilot, and you and 5 of your friends are going to be in a simulator, and you get to go and complete the mission for Hondo, and then he's going to try to take the profits from you. So be careful.
That's right. Just
And a fast pass is the way to go. I did have a fast pass when I was down there this past weekend. I got it the day that they announced they'd be available, and it worked out well. They were also doing over at Studios. They're also doing the cast member previews for Runaway Railroad. So from a planning point of view, and something we should talk about later, and maybe it's a question for you guys watching, you're going to be at Studios a time when you can pick one of 3 primary fast passes. You can go to Smugglers Run, Slink Dog, or Runaway Railroad. Pick one of those 3. Which one are you picking? I think you have to go back more than once.
Yeah, I think you probably have to. Studios is certainly for a Star Wars fan. Studios is not a one day.
No, not at all.
Trip
And Bill brings up a great point here. Have you tried Chewy mode on Smugglers Run? So here's my answer. No, because all 6 people have to be on the same page to unlock Chewy mode. This is something we just learned about recently, but essentially everyone has to go through a series of pressing the right button at the right time before you lock your seatbelt to unlock what's called Chewy mode. Think of it like a video game where you have to go, left, right, X, Y, Z to get something to open up. And what happens is Chewbacca is then the person yelling at you to do things instead of Hondo. So Hondo's on the screen, and what he's doing is saying things like, "Oh, hurry up, get this," or "Launch those cables," or do whatever. You don't have him; you have Chewbacca, and I don't know how he's yelling at you, but he's going to be yelling at you in Wookiee.
That's fantastic.
It's kind of cool.
It will always be MGM to quite a few people. You're not alone there, Rory.
Back to my comment before about you remember when you were a kid, right? You're right.
So,
and I get
Brad
it.
says they'd love to hold you at the International Gateway before a rope drop. Has that changed? It's awful and frustrating.
It is. So there's a couple of things, Brad, because you're right. They do hold you until the front of the park opens. And that goes back to the original fast passes. Because I can remember trying to run the Soarin' as fast as you can to use your tickets and that kind of thing. If you are in a tour, they'll let you in early. But remember, rope drop at International Gateway is typically 9 o'clock in the morning, so unless it's extra magic. And International and World Showcase doesn't open until 11. So you can get in right at rope drop and get back to France because the patisserie is open for breakfast, which gets you into France before World Showcase opens. One of the things I did this trip, one of the mornings for Festival of Arts, we made sure we were in World Showcase before it opened, had breakfast in France, and we were there in World Showcase when the rope dropped. And it was literally all of the festival booths, all of the artists, no line. The food was all fresh because they just made it. And it's a wonderful experience and something you may consider getting in there before they open World Showcase, that is.
Will that change with the new closure up front?
So they're not quote unquote closing anything up front. They've just walled it all off and you have to make your way through a hallway, really. Was that what you'd call it, Lisa?
Yeah. It's when you go left, if you're coming in, you're going left towards test track. It's quite the you kind of go straight.
It's
left,
a hallway.
left again and right, and then until it opens up again. It's kind of really
construction walls on both sides of you, and I'm sure as things evolve, they're going to change it almost weekly as far as where exactly you're walking. But they are opening in the very front. Let me ask you this, Lisa, because I came in International Gateway because I was staying in Epcot Resorts. When you first come in, is that area where they call them the tombstones, but where the Leave a Legacy statues, is that opened up now? How's that looking up front?
No, not really. No, it's still boxed off, but it's boxed off in the form of a square, but a very large one.
Okay.
So if you come in, you go. They send you all the way to the left to go in and to the turnstiles or the touch points.
Okay.
And then you can go straight in, and you can. This is why we went left, was because you're already over to the left anyways.
Got it.
So as you're coming in and going towards Spaceship Earth, you can either veer off to the right towards where Pluto or Donald or where sometimes those characters are.
Right.
Or you can just stay to the left where everybody's staying. But you're kind of going along the construction walls on your right-hand side where the big stones were. If you're exiting, because we exited out the right side by Coral Reef, and we went straight out, and you could go the right towards it. You could go straight out, but it's all blocked up. But I could have come all the way out and then gone right and gone to the car. Got
it. And I my big question there is, one of the things I always look forward to at Flower and Garden Festival is the entrance topiary, they call it, right? When you first walk in, right in front of Spaceship Earth, you have the topiaries, and usually it's a Mickey or a Donald or somebody cool. And I'm wondering if in a week they could get something up there. Time will tell. You'll know before I do.
Time will tell.
Sure.
And I kind of think that this is where this is coming from here. I feel like Disney is making so many changes to their parks, and I think it's great, but I feel like the parks won't be the same as they were after they make the changes to the parks. But I could be wrong on that. And then Christina kind of doubles back with, I was thinking the same thing, kind of losing the nostalgia from long ago.
So here's the way I look at it. Epcot right now is at the very beginning of its transformation. Studios just finished, for the most part, its transformation. So if you go back just 5 years ago, going to Hollywood Studios, you'd be walking down the streets of America, you'd be going on the backlot tour, you'd be in Catastrophe Canyon. All of those things are gone. And now when you go to Hollywood Studios, we're talking about getting fast passes for Slink Dog or Smugglers Run or getting in a boarding group for Rise of Resistance. That's fundamentally changed the park. But I think the fact that you still have Hollywood and Sunset gives you some of that anchor from the original studios.
And it's still like my favorite part of the park.
The front, right? And I'm so happy they didn't change it. Even though they got rid of Sid Karinga's and they changed some things, you still have Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard. And that's cool. Now, what's that mean for Epcot a year from now? Another interesting comment I'll make real quick. We were standing in Italy, looking back at Spaceship Earth, and you see the two stores in Spaceship Earth. And one of my kids said, "What's it going to look like from here 5 years from now?" And I thought that's a really good question because there's going to be a celebration pavilion built over there. There's going to be the bathrooms there now. There's going to be a new Starbucks somewhere for that temporary one. It's going to change considerably. So we go into the Epcot experience and watch. It's going to look like.
That's right. And then you can't wait. Did they add more ways to get into the International Gateway? It's usually 2 turnstiles and 2 or 3 cast members. Yes, they did.
You're absolutely rad. That's what it used to be. Yes.
Is that my memory, which I usually consider an incredibly great asset? I can't think beyond when all those walls were up over there when they were putting the Skyliner in. So I don't remember how big it used to be.
They had, so what you used to have were two turnstiles. Maybe it was 3, and then there was a guest relations sort of next to that in the park exit. What they've done is got rid of that guest relations. They built a new one, and now they've stretched probably 8 different touch points across the back. But you have the Skyliner coming. So what's the big reason? You used to have, was it 4 resorts? Swan, Dolphin, Yacht Beach, and Boardwalk. Those resorts would be served by Friendship boats. Now you add to that the Riviera, the Caribbean, Art, and Pop. You have now 9 resorts that are getting dumped into the back, because remember, those resorts don't have buses to studio anymore. The Skyliner's your way in, so they had to make it bigger. So it's bigger, but it's also serving a lot more people than it used to.
To answer their question here, where is the Starbucks in Epcot now? It is, if you're coming down the main drag, as if you're walking straight at World Showcase, with the port of entry on your left or right, the 2 gift shops, and you take a right as if you're going to a refreshment port in Canada. The Starbucks is right before the refreshment port on your right-hand side.
The Starbucks is basically, and this will go back to a Disney Nerds podcast bathroom show, which that's a thing. If you guys haven't learned it, you should go look at it.
Probably one of my favorite shows, Once Upon a Time.
Yes, there was the worst bathroom in all of Walt Disney World. We called it because it was like 2 stalls, and the Starbucks, basically they took down that bathroom. That's where the Starbucks is, and they built a really big restroom right in the middle of World Showcase, which is fantastic, and it was long overdue. So yeah, there's good stuff going there. Good evening, Jim.
Good evening, Jim.
Yeah, Brad, you're right. Stay at the Swan or the Dolphin, one of the 2. I was a Starwood elite member for years before that franchise was purchased by Marriott. And in fact, they've made a lot of changes at the Swan and Dolphin recently. They've changed some of the timing on things. They added a place in a Dolphin called Fuel, which is really cool, and it's open different hours. They've changed things up a lot at the Swan and Dolphin.
So Brad said near the old McDonald's.
Near the old McDonald's.
Now, see, I don't remember
McDonald's in Epcot.
I remember the McDonald's fries cart over Magic Kingdom.
And the McDonald's in Animal Kingdom.
See, I vaguely remember
there was so that's when Animal Kingdom opened in 98. 98, yeah. They had Happy Meals with dinosaur toys in them. Literally, that's what it was. It was in
Dino Land?
It was in Dino Land. What's the name of that now? I forget the name of it. Restaurantosaurus. That was a McDonald's. So they didn't call it McDonald's, but they sold McDonald's.
Interesting segue, because you rented a car on your last day.
I did.
Did you happen to drive down Osceola Parkway and see the McDonald's?
I did not. I did not get that way.
The McDonald's on property. There is a McDonald's on property. It is over by the All-Star Resorts, Coronado and Blizzard Beach.
There's the international
side of the property. It is in the middle of being remodeled, so it's closed. But the structure is going up, and it is huge.
I'm not surprised.
Huge. That place was pretty small before. It is huge.
There's a picture of International Gateway there, Lisa. If you want to share, if you can share that real quick. So that's how International Gateway looks from France, looking back. And essentially, this is the security checkpoint, and this is now all of your turnstiles here on this side. So it's much bigger. And over on the right-hand side, that is where the guest relations is now. Definitely bigger than it used to be.
Absolutely. Victoria says, I think because we all see the parks in one way, we don't see how it will look after the changes are made. I think that's a really good point.
It is.
It's hard seeing the parks make changes when we only have ever seen the parks the way that they were before. I I agree.
Yeah, me
I
too.
agree. We always get a little whenever something happens, and then once we once we get once we wrap our head around it, it's all of a sudden the coolest thing ever.
Most of the time.
Is it? There's only one change that they made, and it's a selfish thing. So it's not.
Well, and we're all gonna have that, right? There's
Yep,
nostalgia. It's
nostalgia.
nostalgia. Yeah.
Okay, two changes. I'm not happy about Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, but is it still worth going to Epcot?
A World Showcase is World Showcase.
The
I mean,
World
why?
Showcase is fantastic. That's worth the trip to Epcot. If you are a huge Future World fan, hang on for a while.
Yeah. What do we got? Well, you still got Imagination still running. Mickey's over in Imagination, by the way. He's up in the Pixar, in the entrance to the Pixar short films. That's where Mickey's new meet and greet is, because character spot's gone. It's not there anymore. The test track was down when we were there, so you really only had the right hand side of Future World, right? And which will be World Discovery when this is all said and done. With the Moana water stuff. So it's going to be complete. The front of the park is going to be completely different. It's not going to resemble Future World.
There was a McDonald's at Disney Springs. I remember that.
Yes, absolutely. So this goes back to 98. And I can remember this. In 1998, there was a 10-year contract where McDonald's was the exclusive Happy Meal or toy provider in fast food chains for Disney toys. So there's a point for 10 years where Disney toys would only be in McDonald's Happy Meals. And Disney got the fry cart in Magic Kingdom, the McDonald's in Animal Kingdom, and they got the McDonald's at Downtown Disney, and the one that you're talking about that's currently being remodeled that used to look like a big Happy Meal container.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember that. That was when it started. It was a 10-year deal, and then sometime in 2009, McDonald's slowly disappeared. So that deal never got redone.
Doesn't let you share the pictures in that chat, Brad, but post it directly to the either the in the nerds group or
what do you got, Brad? Something good?
I think he's found a picture of, I got to imagine this is what this is. He's found a picture of what McDonald's was at Epcot.
Yeah, that I don't remember.
Right over by Canada.
That I don't remember.
What's up, April? Yeah, because I was born in 1999. That doesn't make Sam feel any younger.
Yeah, no, I can remember those things. I mean, that's what my kids would say.
Do you think it was a better choice to have Beastly Kingdom or Pandora?
Oh, aren't they both the same? Fictitious animals in a far off fantasy world?
Right?
I don't know. I mean, would you rather have unicorns and dragons? Unicorns and fire-breathing dragons, or Pandora? I don't know.
I think because they can attach it to a brand.
Sure, that they own now with 21st Century Fox. Yeah.
Is it 20th or 21st?
Whichever.
It's Fox.
It's Fox, and they have Pandora.
So let's pull this back up here. So, like Sam had said, he and I met up this weekend, and one of the things we had the opportunity of doing was meeting up and enjoying a great meal here at the Regal Eagle Smokehouse and Craft Beers.
I think that's exactly it. And you know, when they first announced that name, Regal Eagle, I think we all sort of like squinted a little bit and looked sideways, like, what is that? And when you add Sam the Eagle, it just makes sense. I love it.
Oh, it's phenomenal. And there's even there's quite a few homages. We sat there for a while, me and the family, and there are quite a few homages to the Muppets up on the walls there.
I'll flip through a couple of these, but one of the cool parts is they added these steps and a different entranceway into that area on the left-hand side. The Regal Eagle.
So pretty.
Very nice. With a smoker outside and a full bar over here on the left.
And when you say full bar, it is a full bar.
Yep. I'm not sure if I have a picture of it. All right, here's inside. Inside early morning when, remember I mentioned I walked around right when they dropped the rope for World Showcase? That's when I got these pictures.
Can you use quick service dining for the Regal Eagle? Yes, you can.
Mobile order was not yet available. It's in the app, but it says sorry, not there yet. What they've done is split the United States into territories. So you have the Vinegar League. That's one of them there. You have Old Glory. You have the Sizzling Pit. And those are really broken down. If I remember right, Lisa, it was Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Memphis is really how
Yes.
they broke it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh,
So
there's your sauces.
Brad wants to know if it was worth it or worth the money. I'll tell you what my favorite things were on the menu, and I'll tell you what they probably struggled a little bit with, and look forward to me saying the same things in the blog post we're about to write. But it is. I thought the pulled pork was fantastic, and I didn't have it in the form of a sandwich. I got the trio, so you can get. Let's circle back. You can get sausage, brisket, pulled pork, chicken, or ribs. Those are your 5 meat options. So my suggestion is to get the platter. It's the American platter where you choose 3 of those meat options. So if you choose the platter and you get the pulled pork, it comes just as pulled pork on the plate. If you get pulled pork as its own meal, it comes in the form of a sandwich.
I know I have a picture coming. I swear it.
It is. I loved the pulled pork. I really liked the brisket. The chicken was okay, but a little dry. I thought the sausage was phenomenal. I thought the sausage was really good. The ribs were really rough, and I think I was the only one that had them at the table.
Yeah, people usually take pictures of rides and parades. I take pictures of every picture on the wall in the new restaurants. Here we go. I knew I'd get to the food eventually.
We ordered everything on the menu. Every meat that you could possibly find, we ordered on the menu. So that
Except for the Beyond Meat burger with the jackfruit, we skipped that
right.
one. But there is a growing trend at Disney for vegetarian options, and there is a Beyond Beef burger with jackfruit. Which okay, sure, why not? That's the half chicken with house-made pickles. Is that right?
Oh yeah, they were so good. It was like pickles and vinegar. Oh, so good. Really, cucumbers and vinegar. Sorry.
Yeah, you know that's exactly what my daughter said. It's more like cucumbers than it was pickles.
Yep.
That's the pork, right?
That is the pulled pork. Yes, so good. And the onion rings, which I didn't get a chance to try. That's how good they were. My wife and my oldest daughter just devoured them.
And I think I got one more. That's the platter. So that's the brisket.
They were really good.
Brisket, sausage, ribs, and that is it. Burnt ends beans. Is that what was in this?
Burnt ends beans. Yep.
And yes, Morgan, they have a plant-based option. See.
In my opinion, yes, it was worth the money. And then to answer the question, was there a good beer selection? They have craft beers right at the bar outside. It was really good.
Yeah, I don't have that menu with me, darn it. Nor did I take a picture of it. There's a Topiary already out.
Joe asked something that we've already covered, which is perfectly fine. I love it when people ask questions. I heard they are remodeling Spaceship Earth. When are they doing it? May 26th. Spaceship Earth will go down for a remodel, and my guess is that it's going to open sometime in 2021.
We would expect before the 50th anniversary, which is October 1st, 2021. Are they going to make changes? Absolutely. What we learned at the D23 Expo is that this would be reimagining our favorite scenes and giving us some new scenes. We're going to be following the Spirit Light, which I think is sort of interesting. So think sort of the technology they use in the Peter Pan virtual queue where the pixie kind of goes along. You're going to follow that along your journey, and it's going to tell the story of us is exactly how they referred to it, right?
Yes, that is exactly how they mentioned it. Brad, yes, outdoor seating.
Outdoor and indoor, yes. A lot of picnic tables outside, which I thought was a nice touch.
Yes, absolutely. Yep, they definitely have a plan. Yes, but that's somebody's preference. And then I'm going to throw this up there because he's right. We have gone 47 minutes.
And we have not mentioned
Oh,
what? There's a change today. Something happened. Wasn't this
this was
inevitable?
all over social media. This was
Yeah,
all over everything. This was the biggest news that I had
it is
seen
big news. It
in
was
a long time.
unexpected.
But was it?
The timing, I think, was unexpected. I mean, we all knew that Bob Iger extended his contract and was going to remain as the CEO and chairman through 2021. And I'm not sure what happened, but he decided to relinquish his CEO title and his daily duties. And you have to look at how Disney presented this. What I did is, and you can look this up if you go and look, immediately after the announcement, there was an interview on CNBC with both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek, where they basically talked about what was happening and the fact that this is really a succession plan. Bob Iger is looking to focus more on the creative aspects as opposed to running the daily operations. He was going to look more into what was coming next, and Bob Chapek would take over daily operations and run the company as CEO, and Iger would be chairman. Previously, he was CEO and chairman. So it's sort of a succession plan for investors. And the timing's bad with everything happening in the market these last few days, but yeah, Bob Iger is focusing on creative things. Not sure what that means.
Hmm. Brad says it's odd that it's immediately.
It is odd that it's immediately.
It's odd that it's immediately, but if you read an article, it says he's still going to be around through 2021.
And that was his original contract, right? The contract he signed in 2017 was to remain until the end of 2021. During the interview, they asked if he would consider extending it beyond 2021, and his reply was no. Was basically, and here's the way he put it: I've been with this company for 45 years. The last 15, I've been the CEO. I'm in a position now to basically the only person working for me is going to be Bob Chapek. I will be here for 18 months. He can ask me any questions and bounce things off of me. And that's exactly what Bob Chapek said. You know, this is, I get to work with him for 18 months. He's not just leaving and will be gone tomorrow, which allows us to continue to put in motion the things that he's started. Now, if
what
that's
is sitting out in limbo other than, as Chris Hiller says, the 50th? What else could possibly? There's really not much sitting out in limbo other than the 50th and this whole Epcot redo. And
they listed what he would be remembered for, and I think that's really how you look back at presidents or whatever it is, the CEOs, right? What did Michael Eisner do for the company? You could list the good and the bad. What will Iger's legacy be? He bought Pixar, he bought Marvel, he bought Lucasfilms, he did the 20th Century Fox. He opened the new parks in China. So there's a whole long list of things that he will be known for, but he acquired intellectual property that the company can now expand on. And it's going to be pretty cool.
He's been phenomenal for the company. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Jody, hello, by the way. Chris, hey. You're absolutely right. The doing it before the 50th, he'll still be around. I have a feeling he'll be on stage somewhere when that happens in October, because he'll be here through December of
2021. Yep. So he'll still be around, and it was huge news today, but there wasn't a lot of me that was crazily surprised.
Not when you read the details and saw that he's remaining as chairman. Yep. So he's not disappearing tomorrow. The only thing that surprised some of the investor community is that Chapek was the replacement. And there were some people that expected it to be the gentleman that led the Disney Plus launch. And I'm blanking on that name right now, but it's fine.
Maybe he'll oversee the remodel of the giant glass dome over Disney World.
There you go.
It's like Stephen King's world there. He'll be forever known as the guy that actually made Netflix lose customers.
Did you, Lisa, I think last week you and Jimmy talked about the makeover coming to Cinderella's Castle. I see Victoria's asking about that.
Yep, absolutely. We definitely discussed it last week. I think it's going to be an interesting makeover. I had my reservations when they updated the hub, and now I walk through the hub.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And it's stunning.
Absolutely.
So, I just think that it's going to look a lot like that of Disney World, or Disneyland rather, which that's Angela's favorite castle now because of the colors on the castle. She loves it. So
I get it. Now, I there was a point in time, Lisa, if you see that there, Remember for the 25th,
I was
they
there for
updated the
that.
castle.
I was there for that. But
So
now I've got to figure out what year that was.
that was 87.
Holy,
Is that 25 years ago?
yeah, that's it,
21?
it was my first trip to Disney.
And we're gonna update the castle to celebrate Walt Disney World's 25th anniversary, and this is what they did. So if they're just gonna add some gold for the 50th anniversary, which by the way they did at Disneyland for Sleeping Beauty's castle, they added some gold tint around it. That's wonderful. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Interesting stuff.
There's a
sorry about that. That's this weekend. That's the Tron track this weekend.
the Tron track.
That is Tron track this weekend from the People Mover, obviously, because that's where everybody takes their Tron track pictures from.
Wow. I think they said they're already moving along with the painting. What is the end date? I'm gonna guess that the end date on that is probably gonna be by next year. This time, probably 12 months, maybe.
Yeah, I really don't see it being all that intrusive because of the nighttime shows and the projection technology they use. So they can paint some surfaces and make some outlines look cool and make them look gold, but they really can't change the castle because they have these investments in projection mapping.
Rarely misses, but that was a miss. You know what else was a miss? Do you remember the Stitch castle?
The toilet paper castle, yeah.
Toilet paper castle.
Stitch toilet papered the castle when Stitch's Great Escape opened.
Yep.
Which, by the way, the signage is officially gone for that. I noticed in Tomorrowland.
Yes, it is. Marianne,
you were a class member during the castle cake. That's cool.
And Marianne was at Walt Disney World in 1972. A little bit different now.
Yeah, a lot different.
She just went recently, but yeah, completely different park now.
Yeah. There are if you look back at some of the older Christmas Day parades or Easter parades from '87, you see the castle cake in the background. Yeah, it's there.
They're gonna do it for the 50th. It's just gonna be blue this time, not pink.
It's gonna be blue with gold icing.
Can you imagine?
So but I saw the post. You see social media. The Walt Disney World permanently updating Cinderella's castle. Nothing's permanent, guys. You know that. This is Walt Disney World. Nothing's permanent. It's all subject to change. Anything is, and that's why you look at Epcot, and it's kind of some of the things that haven't changed that I think may change have me a little bit. Ooh, I don't know what's going to happen.
Well,
I'm looking at you, imagination.
It has been forever.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Is it a combination of both? For
the front of the park, or what do you?
For Future World.
For Future World. So he and I understand what Disney's doing because they're doing the same thing to Tomorrowland that they're doing for Future World, which is to try to stop chasing the future. Because they found themselves, especially today with the way technology moves, where things move so fast that you can't chase the future. By the time you come up with an attraction, you implement it, the technology's old and it looks dated. Walk into the Imagination Pavilion now and run the trackball to move the mice around. Most kids are in there trying to touch it to move it. Right. I mean, that's just how technology moves. So by getting rid of Future World, right, the name's going away. It's going to be World Discovery, World Nature, and World Celebration. That allows them to implement things that aren't stuck in technology, and you can create an evergreen type of a scenario where Moana and water is just perpetual, and as long as that character's popular, that should be a lot better than trying to come up with some technology that's outdated in a year or 5 years, whatever.
And then you're able to interweave, which is something I think they've had a hard time with at Epcot. You're able to interweave some of these characters that we know and love.
And there's a lot of that happening. Yeah,
Wreck-It Ralph, and so you're able to interweave all of these people.
That's exactly right. No, I like the fact that World Celebration, and we talked about this a little bit, Lisa, when we were down there. World Celebration is the whole center of the main spine. So it is the front of the park through Spaceship Earth and everything all the way to World Showcase. And what that does is that's going to let them take these festivals and pull them all the way up to the front of the park. So when you walk into the park, you're going to be greeted by the Festival of Arts or the Food and Wine Festival or a holiday celebration. And it's going to make the experience that much better. You don't have to walk through Future World to get to the first art exhibit. they're going to bring it right up to you.
And that's going to be the thing. They're going to bring these booths to you. And whereas it's not going to be, I don't know whether or not it's not going to be like in your face, but it's going to be a seamless transition. Instead of everybody running to the back of the park, there's going to be a little bit more delay and a little bit more family friendly. Because right now, let's be honest, it's not.
More family, more Disney, more timeless. I think that were the three things that were said.
Yep.
Brad, great question on Space 2020 because we haven't heard anything. We heard spring, but the fact that Test Track is down right now and there's a lot of walls that cover that entire area, sort of Test Track and where the entrance to Space 2020 is going to be, I have a feeling when those walls come down, it's going to be open. I just don't know when yet.
Test Track is supposed to reopen tomorrow.
Is it really? So then you can get up there and take some pictures. It was running when I was there. It just wasn't opened. You could hear the cars.
And that's what made me look it up because the last time I was there, it wasn't running.
Yeah. Not sure exactly. Jiminy Cricket. Is he still there somewhere? Where's Jiminy?
I've seen Jiminy Cricket as a character.
He's in the parade. Is he in? He's in Festival of Fantasy, right?
Is he?
At the end?
Maybe.
He might be. He and Tinkerbell, it was their parks.
Yep.
Can you imagine a time, and here's a little Disney history back to the early 50s, when Walt wasn't exactly sure Disneyland would be a hit. They just didn't know, right? There was some risk involved, and he didn't want to tie his main characters to the parks, so he gave them Tinkerbell and Jiminy Cricket. Characters that if it went bad, it wasn't Mickey Mouse and it wasn't Snow White. It wasn't those. But isn't that interesting? Here we are now, and Jiminy Cricket and Tinkerbell are everywhere.
Do you know that one of the things that strikes me the most when I walk down Main Street USA in Walt Disney World, and if I put enough thought into it, it bothers me quite a bit. But what bothers me the most as I, sit there and kind of enjoy that experience is that it's not something Walt ever saw.
Yeah, that's right.
That really, you just kind of wish that this was the dream. This was the fix, right? This was where the dream comes true. And he didn't necessarily have a chance to experience that.
I think he saw it in his mind. He knew there was something big going on
there. It was there. But you just didn't walk, you wish that he had just a day.
Yeah.
To walk in there and see what that looked like.
There's the, can you share that Festival Bloom picture?
I can.
So this is from this weekend, and this is the Festival Blooms from Epcot. But what I wanted to point out was that right there, that wall that you see that's gone, that was the character spot.
Yeah.
And the Starbucks, and it is gone. The tarps that used to be in the center here, because Fountain of Nations is gone. You can see the construction trucks in the middle. Fountains of Nations is completely gone, and they've now taken down all of the what I want to call it, the cells that used to be around Penn Station. That's all there as well.
Yep, he was alive
in Disneyland, absolutely.
For Disneyland, but he was not alive for Disney World.
Walt passed away in December of 1966.
It's why I enjoyed going to Disneyland.
Yep.
Because you knew that his hands were involved in that, and you knew that he had been there.
Yep.
That picture's beautiful, by the way.
And that's the Flower and Garden Festival hasn't started yet. That's kind of why I wanted to share that. But there you go. You just kind of turn around. Now there's construction walls on the right behind you there, and in fact, where I'm standing when I took that picture, the Starbucks is basically directly behind me. But that's cool.
Fantastic. So we've been going for about an hour now. We're gonna. What are you grabbing? What are you grabbing?
I got a toy that I grabbed while I was out.
What the heck is that?
This is my.
I know what that is.
Yes, this is my Sith holocron.
Oh, we're gonna geek out on Star Wars for the last 5 minutes.
For the last 5 minutes.
We're gonna geek out as a Star Wars fan. Hang tight.
This is my Sith holocron. I also got some different colors. So basically, you open the back. This is where you're gonna put your kyber crystal in, and then once the kyber crystal's in there. There's not one in there yet, so I don't get a message. But
There'll be a message when you put one in there.
we could do it if you'd like. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I have one here.
He's going to see if he has a kyber. Folks, if he doesn't have a kyber crystal within 5 feet of him, I'm going to pass out cold.
I got purple. You want to go with purple?
Yeah.
Because I haven't tried any others. So what I'll do here. So there's hidden messages. If I can get the crystal out. That's my purple kyber crystal. Let me find the sliding door here. By the way, this is a Sith holocron. They also have the Jedi holocrons as well.
If you don't know,
purple goes in there, and now it should light up purple and give me a message. And it is purple. Now I have to hold it the right way.
I'm looking forward to completing your training. In time, you will call me Master.
So the purple gives me the Emperor. Cool.
and
they are different. That's my choice. Sorry.
All right. On that note, I can't drop that. I've got a medal and
no, your medal's awesome.
And a popcorn bucket and my cell phone and a pen and some papers, and I'm not doing anything cool tonight, guys.
Thank you guys for watching. This is cool. Jimmy will be back next week, right?
That's
correct.
Maybe
I'll come with Jimmy. We can try different color kyber crystals in there.
That sounds like a plan. So on behalf of Sam and I, thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to follow us and like our page, the Disney Nerds Podcast, and check out the website, the DisneyNerdsPodcast.com, the group Disney Nerds. We are on Instagram at the Disney Nerds. We are on Instagram at the Disney Nerds Podcast, or vice versa.
One of those. And by the way, thank you, Morgan, for fact checking us as we.
Yes, that's fantastic.
We appreciate that.
I have to be up early in the morning, so I am ready to rock and roll. And Sam's back from loving his Disney trip with his family.
That's
so
right.
Welcome back to the real world. Now get back to work.
I see Bill there. Congaloosh.
So long, everybody. I hope you guys have a great night. See you next week.